This is Obsidian ASMR. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for future videos. Hey, and welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super episode where I, your host, Obsidian ASMR, talk you through the key events in Dragon Ball Super. And today we've moved on to part 3 of the collection, I guess, which is episodes 27 through 239. But first, in true Dragon Ball fashion, what did happen last time? Well, as we have established in the first 2 episodes of this series, Dragon Ball Super started by retelling the 2 movies that were released in 2013 and 2015. Those were Battle of Gods and Resurrection F. That allowed the series to, one, get into the swing of things, I guess, but also to add content and add character development through the elongated runtime and spreading it across, 26 or 7 episodes to this point. But they had made some key changes which we discussed. And the last time we left with Vegeta stepping into the fray to face Frieza after Goku had been shot through the chest by one of Frieza's underlings. So, as always, we will start by reading the back of the Blu-ray, because we have now switched to Blu-ray, and I love the design of Vegeta. I think he is one of my favourites, if not my favourite character in the series. I think as a kid you tend to liken yourself to Goku, but as an adult you tend to gravitate towards Vegeta more than you used to. Especially did during my teenage years, I must say. So, a bit of spoilers here, but universe versus universe in a brand new tournament. After a startling meeting with Beerus' brother, Champa, goes sideways, the godly brothers decide to settle their differences in the best way possible by putting their best fighters to the test. It's a battle of universes as Universe 7, the home of Goku and the Z-Fighters, faces Universe 6 in a brand new martial arts tournament, and the ultimate prize is one worth fighting for: the Super Dragon Balls. Can Goku gather the best fighters for a chance at true glory? And who is the mysterious Monaka that Beerus boasts as his strongest warrior? Get ready for an out-of-this-world competition. And this was released in 2015, which feels like yesterday, but is almost a decade ago. So, mad how time flies, eh? What I will say is I liked the premise of this, that it came back to a tournament, because Dragon Ball as a series is all about tournaments. In the original Dragon Ball series, which I've yet to review like this, they were kind of the staple, and the way that you could tell the character progression, because they were done in, yearly, etc., or bi-yearly, I forget. But then with Z, they kind of moved away from the tournaments up until the end, where you had similar kind of things with within the Majin Buu saga. But it's good to see that they've come back and been represented as a focal point here. I do want to draw some attention to these Super Dragon Balls that we speak of. A lot of people have started to now cotton on that Dragon Ball Super recycles a lot of the ideas that came initially from Dragon Ball GT. Now, why is that, do you wonder? The answer is that although Akira Toriyama was not an official part of the show, Dragon Ball GT, he did do some character designs for it, and he did have an overview of some of the storylines, and he did like some. He really did like some of the concepts. So there is this kind of repetition, whereas GT had the Black Star Dragon Balls, Super has the Super Dragon Balls. Both more kind of like universal rather than Earth-based, with greater consequences, if I remember correctly. The Pilaf Gang were the original kind of reason that the whole Dragon Ball GT system started off, or season started off, I should say, whereas in this they are present during the Battle of Gods movie, and then I think they're kind of forgotten again similar to GT. And of course we've got Dragon Ball Daima coming up, which is specifically a story created by Akira Toriyama, and that will turn Goku and others back into their childlike forms, which is lifted directly from Dragon Ball GT. So I'm trying to make a case here that although the popular thing to do in the fandom is to hate on GT because it's not canon, I have a sneaking suspicion that when you consider a lot of Toriyama's storylines are heavily Western influenced, I think that we're going to see a multiverse story, quite like the Marvel Cinematic Universe and what they're doing now with alternate versions and alternate timelines. And I wouldn't be surprised if he uses Daima as a way to canonize GT and end that debate and bring it all under one umbrella, all one Dragon Ball umbrella, and then he would be able to use other aspects of GT like the Super Saiyan 4 transformation, if he was so minded to. Now I know that there have been other universal or multi-universe storylines, and we will get to those in a couple of episodes' time, but I do think that he's positioning it so as to bring GT into the continuity, or at least an alternate continuity, whilst also refreshing the series for younger viewers. That's my own personal theory. You may not be here for it, but it is what it is. So, we go into the box, into the wild blue yonder, and you get to see these lovely, lovely, lovely Blu-ray discs. And I used to be very cynical of Blu-ray, but I have swiftly changed my tune. And instead, we start with episode 27, which is actually the final episode within the Resurrection F arc. And I think they purposefully did this to kind of hook you onto buying more of these DVD or Blu-ray collections. So it's called Earth Explodes, the Decisive Kamehameha or Turtle So Goku, as I said at the outset of this video, has been shot through the chest by one of Frieza's underlings, and effectively he's about to die. But Vegeta has intervened and has started to fight Frieza before Frieza could exact his vengeance and deliver a killing blow. While Vegeta is trying to preoccupy Frieza, Krillin attempts to give Goku a senzu bean, much to the dismay of Frieza, who then tries to kill Krillin for the second time. But good old Vegeta gets in the way and redirects Frieza's attack at Sorbet, which ends up killing him, as in sorbet. It's at this point that Vegeta really flexes his muscles and shows that he too can turn into a Super Saiyan Blue, or Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, if you want the long-winded version. Kind of why I prefer Super Saiyan 4, it rolls off the tongue easier. But I do like the design of Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. I just prefer Super Saiyan 4. Sorry. So, that startles Frieza, and effectively he finds that he can't land a blow on Vegeta like he couldn't land a blow on Goku to begin with. This is because he's already exhausted. He's had to fight one of these Super Saiyan Blues before, and he still hasn't got quite the hang of his new golden transformation, so his stamina is running out. So Vegeta, in quite a poignant moment, has completely outmatched the person who ordered the destruction of his homeworld and personally killed his father, King Vegeta. But Frieza, being the egomaniac in not too dissimilar fashion to Vegeta, but with less homicidal tendencies, Frieza doesn't like feeling like he's lost, for obvious reasons, and that has enraged and humiliated him. He's a sore loser. So, Vegeta is now ready, or getting ready to deal the decisive blow and send Frieza back to Hell, where he obviously was before he got regenerated or resurrected by Sorbet. But Frieza, not accepting defeat, instead kind of blindsides Vegeta by firing an energy blast directly into the Earth, which destroys it and everybody on it, apart from the Z-Fighters and Frieza. Because Whis, he jumps in and basically protects Goku, the Z-Fighters and Vegeta, but everybody else is dead. Whis kind of suggests that Frieza survived the blast due to his ability to breathe in space, which we saw in the Namekian Saga, and that was a really, really good callback. But yeah, Goku feels like he should have done more to stop Frieza rather than gloating. And this is where Whis reveals that he can actually turn back time. No, he is not Cher. But yeah, he can do it for a couple of minutes and give Goku and Vegeta one last chance to stop him, which of course he does. So the clock is turned back to the end of Vegeta and Frieza's battle, and Goku charges up a Kamehameha and kills Frieza to save the Earth. After the battle, the Z-Fighters are at Capsule Corp, where Piccolo has been revived with the Namekian Dragon Balls. So he's the ones that we knew from back in the day in Dragon Ball Z, not the Super Dragon Balls. And effectively, they all start talking, etc., etc. And the big thing here is Gohan felt absolutely and utterly defenseless against Frieza. So he tells the now resurrected Piccolo that he's going to recommence his training, because because he never wants to feel like he can't help his loved ones again. Obviously, Piccolo is a diehard for anything that involves training, so this pleases him greatly. And that is the end of the Resurrection F arc. So we move swiftly then into episode 28, which is Universe 6. 6 is God of Destruction. His name is Champa. So in this, it starts off with Goku and Vegeta going through their training with Beerus, and basically he's been awoken by Champa and Vados, because they've arrived out the blue on Beerus' homeworld or planet. So the two brothers, Beerus and Champa, have a quick tussle, and then, as per usual, food is brought forward by Vados, who is Whis' older sister, which calms everybody down, and that's when the introductions start between everybody, and we find out exactly who Champa and Vados are. But the piece is short-lived, and an argument erupts concerning which universe's food is the superior. And this is where Whis does quite a lot of exposition for not only Goku and Vegeta, but the audience, and teaches us, or reveals to us, that in fact there are 11 universes beside their reality. So that means that in total there are 12. Universe 7 and 11 others, I think. So, he effectively says that the 7th and the 6th universes where Champa and Vados are from complement each other. Effectively because their numbers add up to 13, and 13 is a bit of a lucky number in Asian culture, I believe, whereas in Western culture it's viewed as a negative or unlucky number. I think that's the case. It's at this point where Vados discovers that Earth has been destroyed through warfare, and Champa then proposes a tournament with Beerus, with the winner allowed to swap the Earths, so their Earth would survive and, our Earth would be destroyed, or vice versa, or, it stays as it is. Beerus isn't too keen with that, until it's revealed that Champa can do so with the Super Dragon Balls, which apparently the Namekian Dragon Balls were trimmed from. So they were kind of, I guess the Namekian Dragon Balls tap into the energy and the wish-granting power of the Super Dragon Balls. So yeah, I guess, again, the Super Dragon Balls are the superior ones for now, until they, release the Daima Dragon Balls or something like that. And Champa's already got 6 of the 7. This is when Goku pipes up and says that Bulma is capable of locating the final Super Dragon Ball. And effectively the episode ends with Beerus accepting Champa's proposal. So then we move on to episode 29, which is there's going to be a martial arts tournament. The team captain is even stronger than Goku. So, the tournament is to be hosted on a vacated, nameless planet located between the two universes, so kind of in the void, that kind of thing. Goku, having been in quite a lot of these, and save us having to explain new rules to the audience, suggests to use the Tenkaichi Budokai rules from Earth Universe 7. Vegeta, on the other hand, turns around and says there should be a written exam to prevent anybody unable to follow the rules from participating. It's quite interesting because this arc has been turned into DLC for Xenoverse 2, which I was playing recently. And when I first played Xenoverse 2, this was not part of the game because it hadn't been, or it had just been released. But it was quite funny that they did take that exam as part of the initial cutscenes before you actually get into the DLC. I thought that was a very nice touch. Can't recommend Xenoverse 2 enough. So, the tournament is then scheduled to take place in 5 days. So Champa and Vados go and set up the arena with a breathable atmosphere, etc. Whilst Whis, or Whis' students, get judged by Champa. And he himself decides to enlist a Saiyan from Universe 6. And this is where we're first introduced to Kaba. Whis then goes to Earth and obtains Bulma's Dragon Radar to find that final Super Dragon Ball, which it does make me wonder how they got the other 6 without Bulma's Dragon Radar, but there you go. So they must be pretty good at finding these things across the universe. There's a song in that and also a story from Dragon Ball GT, just saying. It's even worse in this because it would be the multiverse. Whilst Bulma believes it would be easier to simply summon Shenron to locate it instead. Effectively, because the Super Dragon Balls are more powerful than Shenron, who was created by Kami, who himself based it off the Namekian Dragon Balls, which was siphoned off from the Super Dragon Balls. Shenron can't do it. He's not powerful enough. And at that point, Beerus and Whis take their leave and get Goku and Vegeta to go and recruit 2 members for the team. Beerus wants to recruit a fighter by the name of Monaka. Bulma constructs the Super Dragon Radar, and basically that was off the back of misinterpreting banter from Beerus that he would use the Super Dragon Balls to annihilate the entire world. So episode 30 then, a review for the martial arts tournament. Who are the 2 remaining members? They really should work on the snappy titles for these. Effectively, this one is Goku and Vegeta meeting up with Krillin, and then Majin Buu as the 2 other members of Universe 7. Why Krillin, I do not know. Majin Buu doesn't want to do it because he really doesn't like Beerus due to the whole pudding episode or fiasco that we had in the Battle of Gods arc. But he does agree to do it when Goku promises him a wish from the Super Dragon Balls. This is where Buu shows his soft side as he internally plans to give that wish to Mr. Satan, his best friend. They're kind of like, they're kind of like a weird family at this point, and an extension technically of Goku's family, because obviously Videl is Mr. Satan's daughter, and Gohan is married to Videl, so technically they're like relatives through marriage. Goten and Trunks try to join the fighting team, but Vegeta says no because it's illegal to use fusion, which is what they were going to do to become Gotenks. And then they go to find Gohan and Piccolo. Gohan would be the ideal candidate here, because obviously, he was at one point more powerful than Goku and Vegeta during the Majin Buu arc, but, as we said before, he stopped training. So, whilst Gohan considers it, I think he turns it down because he's got like a business meeting the following day or something like that. So, all those days ago where Chi-Chi wanted him to become, a studious young man have paid off, and clearly he's doing well in the business world. Then there's a kind of like area or time period of reflection in this where Beerus and Whis question themselves and each other over what Champa and Vados really want out of this, and why they're so interested in Goku. Effectively, like, why do they want to swap the Earths, which, if in a sense, I think would transfer Goku to Universe 6. Yeah, and that's it. It's just kind of like a retrospective of when Beerus first met Goku in the Battle of Gods arc, all the way through to Frieza's death in episode 27. So it's just for those that started to watch during the Universe 6 arc. But then we get to episode 31, which is off to see Lord Zuno, or Zeno, find out where the Super Dragon Balls are. Master Zuno, yeah. So, Jacko, the Galactic Patrolman, who we met during the Resurrection F arc, is basically refusing to help Bulma find the Super Dragon Ball. But he does eventually suggest to go and meet Master Zuno, or Zuno-sama. So they travel to Zuno-sama's planet, and Jacko fails to mention the 7-year waiting list, which reminds me of how long I had to wait for my season ticket to my favourite football or soccer team. A long, long time. There, they meet a criminal called Burpman, who's wanted by the Galactic Patrol for multiple dine and dash crimes. Where somebody goes, has a meal at a restaurant and then runs away without paying. There's a really good meme of an Australian man that does that. Where he's like, what is the crime? A succulent meal? A Chinese meal? I see you know your judo well. If you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend going to watch it because it always cracks me up. It's very, very funny. Anyway, they accidentally destroy a monument and try to pin the blame on this Burpman, which prompts Jacko to arrest him so that Bulma and he can take his spot and seek Master Zuno's advice right away. When they get in and they actually are presented to Master Zuno, Bulma stupidly wastes 2 of the 3 questions that they can ask Master Zuno before their time is up. By asking about like how big are the Dragon Balls, or the Super Dragon Balls, so he tells them what their radius is, and then, other aspects of what do they look like, what do they feel like, that kind of thing. So he tells them. And that they've been scattered across both the 7th and the 6th universe. Then we move on to episode 32. The tournament begins, everyone off to the nameless planet. So, all of our fighters fighters from Universe 7 have gathered on Earth. Goku and Vegeta have arrived after training in the hyperbolic time chamber for a period of 3 years in the hyperbolic time chamber, but not in reality. It's been a couple of days. So they stop off at Beerus' homeworld and pick up Beerus and Monaka, and then head straight to this nameless planet. It's an interesting moment because they finally meet their counterparts from Universe 6. So, what I said earlier about Kaba was wrong. This is where they meet Kaba, and it's stark how radically different he is compared to the Universe 7 Saiyans. And there's also a fighter that is of the same race as Frieza there, who's called Frost. So they all partake in the written test. But the Universe 7 team has left one team member down because Majin Buu didn't complete the test because he fell asleep. So he was disqualified. At this point, Beerus decides that Monaka will go last. And just before everything kicks off, a round of rock, paper, scissors occurs that determines that Goku will fight first, followed by Piccolo, then Vegeta, and then finally Monaka. So Goku steps into the ring with his opponent from Universe 6, which is Botamo, or he basically looks like this large bear. And then we move on to episode 33, which is a surprise Universe 6. This is Super Saiyan Goku. So Goku and Botamo start fighting, and it's just kind of like a warm-up exercise for Goku to begin with, because he has got a full stomach, so he's not really taking it very seriously. Initially, Goku is the sharper fighter, he's better trained, he's quicker, that kind of thing. So Botamo's having trouble landing some of his hits, and even the hits that he does land aren't really having an effect on Goku. It's weird because this big kind of bear creature is just happy to take the punishment that Goku is dishing out. Until from the sideline, Vegeta says, "Think before you act, Kakarot," which prompts Goku to drag Botamo to the side of the ring and to throw him out. The result is, of course, a win for Universe 7 because Botamo was thrown out of the ring. And this is where you start to see Vegeta, the strategist, come into play, helping Goku to win by being a military commander or martial arts commander or whatever. He's got the discipline, and you can see that. Not to say that Goku doesn't, but he does get carried away in the heat of battle and takes great sport in it rather than just being clinical and finishing the job. The next match begins immediately with the Frieza lookalike Frost, Furusuto, entering the ring. That was my best impression of the Japanese name for him. Furusuto. Yeah, Furusuto. I was probably butchering it, but I tried. But unlike Frieza, Frost is not a tyrant. In fact, it's quite the opposite. He is the hero of Universe 6, beloved by the entire universe. And he has quite a lot of the same characteristics that Goku does, in the sense that he looks forward to a challenge. But obviously Goku has got prior experience with the likes of Frieza, so he knows that Frost can transform. So he says, let's cut to the chase, let's transform, and you turn, or you transform into your final form. Because he knew Frost was holding back, or that he was stuck in his third form. Goku sees that Frost is still holding back and goes immediately to Super Saiyan, which prompts Frost to then go to his final form. Even then, Goku still outmatches him. Like, it's not even close. Until something happens where Goku effectively freezes, and it allows Frost the chance to knock Goku out of the ring, to the shock of the other Z fighters. Goku is out. Which takes us to episode 34, Piccolo vs. Frost. Bet everything on the special beam cannon. So Goku is now no longer in the tournament, having only eliminated Botamo, which isn't a good showing for our orange-coloured hero, or orange-wearing gi, or gi colour, you know what I mean. So Piccolo, as per the rock, paper, scissors tournament held before the tournament, steps in to face Frost, and immediately starts charging up his special beam cannon, while simultaneously evading Frost's attacks. He uses the afterimage technique, I think, or creates it's either the afterimage technique or he creates some like clones of himself to kind of buy time so that he can charge the special beam cannon up. Let me know if that gives you tingles, because I don't know whether it does or not, but it's fun to do. But Frost is very, very powerful and very, very quick, so it doesn't take long for him to get rid of the decoys. Effectively, he deals with Piccolo very easily and defeats him with a power blast after all that's done. And just as it looks as if Piccolo is about to be defeated and knocked out the tournament, Jacko, out of nowhere, shouts to stop, and that he thinks Frost has been cheating all along. So the referee then does a pat down of Frost, and does indeed find that he has been using an illegal item hidden in his gauntlets to drug his opponents into a temporary stupor, which explains what happened to Goku. Champa is irate that Frost has been cheating. And it turns out that Vados knows that Frost actually runs a criminal empire. And it gets even worse. Frost admits that he's actually been setting up the attacks on all the planets that he saves. So being duplicitous. So the referee then decides to declare Piccolo the winner, and that Frost will be disqualified until, out of nowhere, Vegeta says, "No, I want to go at Frost." And that's what he gets. So in episode 35, Turn Anger into Power, Vegeta's full-bore attack. Frost announces that he's going to humiliate Vegeta, he's going to defeat him so completely with poison that the two of them agree that the match is not regulated by the standard rules, so that, or the agreed tournament rules that they all had to take an exam to get into the tournament, and that this was a death match. It doesn't take long. Frost gets mercilessly defeated by Vegeta, who then has a bit of a moral moment, which is good to see for our Prince of All Saiyans, where he doesn't kill Frost, he refrains from killing Frost. Beerus then, on the knowledge that Frost cheated, reinstates Goku into the tournament, but says that the Saiyan, or Goku, will go after Monaka. Whis makes a comment at this point about Monaka's true colours, but we don't really hear what's going on. Vados then renews the barrier around the ring, and the referee announces a new rule, where any contact made by a competitor with this new barrier that Vados has created will disqualify them, so they can't fly anywhere, and they have to be more careful about, throwing people around and that kind of thing. Frost then attempts, while this is going on, to steal the treasure that Champa promised the team and escape. But he's knocked out by the assassin Hito and brought back to the arena. The next match between Vegeta and Magetta has just begun, but the audience disputes Magetta's eligibility over spitting lava. He is declared eligible because that lava is actually just his naturally produced saliva. The interesting twist to this is Magetta actually, because of the volcanic fire being spewed off of him, it fills the arena and the space within the barrier that Vados has just created, effectively creating a sauna. So Vegeta is rapidly sweating within it. And obviously if you've been in a sauna, it also causes you to breathe quite heavily from the extreme heat. That takes us on to episode 36, which is the unexpectedly tough fight, Vegeta's explosion of rage. Like me when my favourite football team loses. Vegeta's struggling in the heat. Magetta has got a tactical advantage and an environmental advantage as well, due to the lack of oxygen and the really, really high temperature, because obviously your heart works a lot quicker in high temperatures to cool you down, so Vegeta can't go as quickly as, or as optimally as he previously had been. So he does try to end the fight quickly, but Magetta is just too... he's got too much staying power at that point. He does a kind of counter-attack and hits Vegeta that sends him, with a punch that sends him flying towards the ground. And he almost gets disqualified. But this kind of gets Vegeta really, really angry. And in effect, the power through this anger destroys the barrier that Vados has created. In this rage, he attacks Magetta and forces him to the very edge of the stage, managing to only Vegeta species is very, very sensitive to hurtful insults, so he wouldn't survive on Twitter. So we move then to episode 37, which is Don't Forget Your Saiyan Pride, Vegeta versus the Universe 6 Saiyan. Vegeta is defeated by harsh words, and up steps Cabba, the Universe 6 Saiyan. The Saiyans from Universe 6 are not like the Conquerors of Universe 7. They're more benevolent and view themselves as protectors rather than conquerors. So, both Vegeta and Cabba are quite matched. Although Cabba, interestingly, doesn't know how to become a Super Saiyan, even though he's matching Vegeta blow for blow. So he asks, "How do you do that? Can you teach me?" This kind of annoys Vegeta, who turns Super Saiyan and then starts to basically beat Cabba to within an inch of his life, and starts threatening to kill everybody he's ever cared about or loves if Cabba loses. This provokes Cabba to become Super Saiyan and immediately go on the offensive, quite like what happened with Krillin being killed by Frieza on planet Namek, which I think is, if I remember correctly, that was exactly why Vegeta was doing it, to provoke him to channel his inner anger. Vegeta then ups the stakes very quickly and turns into Super Saiyan Blue as a way to show Cabba what could be within his grasp, and then swiftly knocks him out. There's a lot of respect between the two, and Vegeta, I think, views Cabba a lot like his younger brother, who's appeared in some of the specials, I think. I think Cabba looks a lot like Vegeta's brother, if I remember correctly. I don't know whether Vegeta's brother is canon anymore, but it was like a special from 2008, I think. But yeah, effectively, Cabba thanks him. But Vegeta kind of brushes him off and tells him to forget his Saiyan pride and surpass all others. So, Cabba takes the advice and just walks away, which leaves Universe 6 down to their last fighter. But Champa still is not showing any sign of concern, because that last fighter is the assassin, Hit. So in the penultimate episode, the mightiest warrior of Universe 6, it's Hit, the Hitman. Hit steps into the fight with Vegeta, and having dominated the tournament so far, Vegeta can't land a single blow on him, because Hit is that quick, he's so fast. And with a single shot, Vegeta is left collapsed in a heap on the floor, and Hit is declared the winner. It's then revealed that Hit basically used a technique called time skip, which freezes 1/10 of a second for everyone but himself. So, it's time for Goku to re-enter the battlefield, having had his place reinstated after Frost was cheating. And again, Hit overpowers him to begin with, asking Goku, almost taunting him to surrender. But you know Goku, so do I. He doesn't, he refuses. And instead reveals he's been taking the beating as a way to figure out how Hit's technique works, predicting and invading his opponent's moves. thinks that Goku's foresight was just a fluke, and that he won't be, he just got lucky, he won't be able to do it again. But Goku has indeed figured it out, and can now foresee where Hit is going to attack, but more importantly, defend himself. Again, at this point, Goku, loving the challenge, says that he wants both of them to fight at full power. Hit agrees, and he withdraws. And the both of them start preparing for the next fight, which leads into our final episode, which is episode 39, but it isn't the end of the Universe 6 arc. Counter-attack the growing time skip while Goku uses new technique. So, Goku continues to counter Hit's time skip attacks, which obviously starts to annoy Hit because it works so effectively and dispatched Vegeta within seconds. So Hit fakes a power-up, and effectively says to try to throw Goku off the scent. He says that he's increased the duration of his time skip to a full second so that he can inflict enough blows to Goku to make him collapse like Vegeta did. Champa is now getting a little bit impatient and says to Hit, stop messing around and just finish him off. But Hit doesn't obey, because he respects Goku too much. This technique works, and Goku gets up having endured quite a number of blows. And effectively, he gets, after a little bit more fighting, he gets backed into a corner and has to use a move that he was saving to use on Beerus. And that is to use the Kaioken technique that he used for the first time all the way back against Vegeta in the Saiyan Saga, after King Kai taught it to him, whilst also in Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan form, or Super Saiyan Blue form, in order to greatly increase both of his strength and speed. This proves way too much for Hit, and Goku starts pummeling and blasting him. But Hit does continue to dodge most of the attacks with relative ease. And that, in a nutshell, is where we will have to leave it for tonight. Did you enjoy it? Do you want to hear more? If you did enjoy it, why not give us a like or comment below that you enjoyed it? I do love to hear from you, and I love to interact with you all. I always say it, and I'll continue to. It is the privilege of a lifetime to do these videos for you and to know that you enjoy them as much as I enjoy making them. So, don't be shy. If you want to say hi, hello, or ask my opinion on anything, really feel free to. I will happily tell you, and I'll happily talk to each and every one of you. It really is a pleasure. And if you want to see more, why not consider subscribing and joining us on the road to 1,000 subscribers, which is tantalizingly close now. We're at 816 at the time of recording, which is just incredible, and I really cannot put into you guys really enjoy it, and you enjoy my voice, and it sends you right off to sleep, and it really does warm my heart. I think it was Tyler Skips that commented that. Because ASMR has been, as I've told you all before, an incredible thing for me during my time when I was struggling with anxiety. Needed to get off to sleep but didn't want to use medication to do that. It was a real lifesaver. And I've used it for, since effectively it started to gain traction all those years ago. So to hear that I'm helping and you're all enjoying it so much that you'd be willing to subscribe and support is phenomenal to me. With Christmas coming up, whether you celebrate it or not, I wish you all a wonderful time of year, and secondly, it's the greatest gift of all to have your support. It really is. It really is. But with that, I've rambled enough. Best wishes to each and every one of you. I hope you're all doing really well. I hope you've had a good week so far and a good month. And I really wish you all the best festive period or winter period. I hope you see all your family. I hope you have wonderful food, and I hope you make some long-lasting memories that you'll cherish. And most of all, I hope that you're all safe and healthy. You all mean the world to me. There we go. I'll stop talking now. So until next time, as always, for me, take care of yourselves and each other. Goodbye for now, everyone.